So hello students, welcome back to the lecture number 5 of chapter 5. In the lecture number 4 we have discussed about some problems from exercise 5.1 and today in this class we will do some remaining problems from that exercise. So let's start. So in the first question it is given that here it is given that AC is equal to BC. So basically it is a line segment. AB is a line segment, okay, and in between which C is a point on that line segment. And the condition is AC is equal to BC. Okay. So it is given that AC is equal to BC. Okay. This is the condition. And C is the midpoint. Since AC is equal to BC, it means what? It means C is the midpoint. Okay. So prove that you have to prove every line segment has one and only one midpoint. So what do you have to prove? You have to prove every line segment like AB has only one midpoint, that is C. It has only one midpoint, it doesn't have more than one midpoint. It means if you look at this, suppose this is a line segment, right? And this one, my finger, is the midpoint. Then you have to prove there is only one midpoint, that is your finger. Okay? There exists no other midpoint except this finger. You have to prove. So what you have to prove? I have to prove that C is the only midpoint of line segment AB. Right? That means there exists only one midpoint of any line segment we have to prove. So in order to prove this, we have to use a special method. The name of that method is contradictory method. What is contradictory method? In contradictory method, you have to prove that your statement is wrong what you have already taken. Okay. In this method, you have to disapprove what you have already assumed. For example, suppose looking at the sky, okay, sky is very clear. Looking at the sky, I have to prove that there will be no rain today. Okay, so for this, I have to first take a wrong statement. What will be the wrong statement? I have to suppose that it might rain today. I have to assume it. Okay, then I have to prove that my earlier statement is wrong, and this method is known as contradictory method. So in this method you have to first take a wrong statement. Okay, then you have to prove that your statement is basically false. Right? So it is already given that, or you have to prove that C point is the only midpoint of this line segment AB. That means there exist no other points which will be the midpoint of AB. So you have to use contradictory method. Okay, we have to use contradictory method. Means here you have to assume that no, there exists another midpoint for the line segment AB. Okay, you have to assume it, though you know it is false, but you have to assume it. Okay, so let us assume. There exists another midpoint D, right, for the line segment AB. Okay, that means for this line segment AB you have two midpoint. Already given that C is the midpoint, but you have chosen or you have assumed that D also is another midpoint. Right, now you have to prove what? You have to prove that your statement that you have assumed is wrong. Okay, then only you can prove yes, there is only one midpoint. So let us prove it. Acha. First, suppose this is the line segment AB. It is given that AB has a midpoint C, but we have also taken that AB has another midpoint, that is D. Right? So here write, here C is the midpoint. C is the midpoint of AB. C is the midpoint of AB means what? Means AC is equal to BC. Okay, simple. Similarly, here what we have assumed? Here we have assumed D is the midpoint of AB. Since D is the midpoint of AB, it means AD is equal to BD. Okay, BD. Now, okay, then do one thing. Add AC in both the sides. Okay, BC plus AC. So what we have done here? We have add AC on both sides. Okay, we add AC on both sides so that the total value of the equation will not be changed. Now, AC plus AC is 2AC. Why? Because x plus x is 2x, y plus y is 2y. So AC plus AC is 2AC. Right? Next, BC plus AC. Okay, BC plus AC. This plus this is what? The total length segment. So you can write AB. Okay. So next, find the value of AC is equal to AB divided by 2. Now you find AC is equal to AB divided by 2. Okay. This is your equation 1. Similarly, as you have taken or assumed that D is the another midpoint of AB. Okay. It means AD is equal to BD. AD is equal to BD. Right. Now, add AD on both sides. Okay. So on both sides you have to add AD. This term you have to add. So write the reason. Add AD on both sides. Next, AD plus AD is 2AD is equal to BD plus AD. BD plus AD. What? BD plus AD. It is the total length or the total line segment AB. So AD is how much? AB by 2. Okay. So this is your equation number 2. Right. So by two assumptions, from the first assumption you get AC is equal to AB by 2. And in the second assumptions that D is the midpoint, you get AD is equal to AB by 2. Now you can see in this two equation, the right hand side are equal, isn't it? The right hand side are equal. So you can write their left hand side also equal. Okay. So from equation 1 and 2, we get what we get? The left hand side are equal. AC is equal to AD. Okay. So what you get? The length of AC, that means this length is equal to the length of AD. AD means this length. Is it possible? How? AC is equal to AD. It is possible when C and D lies at a single point. When C, this is C, then D also lie on the same point. But if they are distinct points, then you cannot say whether AC is equal to AD. This is the final result that you get. You get AC is equal to AD. But it is possible when? If C and D lies or coincide each other. Okay? It is possible when C and D coincide each other. Coincide each other means what? See, at this point, this is the point C, and this point is also point D. It means this point is nothing but C and D both. Understood? So it is possible when C and D coincide each other. Hence, C and D are single point. They are not distinct point. They are single point. Okay, they are single point. But what you have taken, what you have assumed, you assume that, let us assume that there exists another midpoint D. Okay, it is a distinct point that you have taken. But what you get here, you get C and D are not distinct, they are coincide each other. It means the assumptions that you have taken earlier is proven wrong. Okay, understood? So what you get, single point, they are not distinct. So you get, hence our assumptions, what we have assumed, we have assumed that C and D are two distinct points, isn't it? C and D are the two distinct points that we have assumed. So our assumption is wrong. Our assumption is wrong. It means C and D are single point and there exists, since it is the single point and you already know C is the midpoint of the line segment AB, so there exists only one midpoint of line segment AB. Now understood? This is the total proof. So in order to prove it, you have to first use a contradictory method. In contradictory method, you have to assume that there exist two midpoints. Okay, another midpoint D, and these two midpoints are distinct point. First you have to assume it. Now by this solution, you finally get that AC is equal to AD. AC is equal to AD means this length is equal to this length. But is it possible? It is possible only when C and D are the single point. They are not the different but distinct points. So our assumption that we had taken earlier is wrong. Okay, hence C is the only midpoint of AB, or you can say there exists only one midpoint for any line segment. Okay, so let us do the question number 2. In question number 2, it is given that in a figure, okay, it is a line segment. In this figure, it is given AC is equal to BD. AC is equal to BD. AC means the distance from A to C is equal to the distance from B to D. So AD is a line segment, AB is a line segment, BC is a line segment, CD is a line segment. Ultimately, AD is a line segment over which or on which B and C are the 2 points. Understood? Now you have to prove AB is equal to CD. That is, AB, this distance, is equal to this distance. Already what we have? We have AC, this distance, is equal to this distance. Okay, you have to prove this. So see, from the condition, it is given that AC is equal to BD. AC means what? We can write AC, H, AB plus BC. AB plus BC, we can write AC means AB plus BC. Similarly, we can write BD. BD means this is, so this line segment can be written as BC plus CD. Okay, so BC plus CD. Right. Now, AB plus BC. Now this BC should be taken to the left. Minus BC is equal to CD. Understood? Now, see, BC can be cancelled out. As I have told you, 2 minus 2 is 0. Similarly, BC and BC can be cancelled out. So you get AB is equal to CD. Now you see, this has to be proved. AB is equal to CD. This has to be proved, and our verification of proof has been completed here. Okay.